Hello everyone. So in this video I'm going to show you how to register a domain name, get yourself set up in terms of DNS, get a basic website formed for your business, and get business email ready as well. So the first thing we're going to do is get or choose a DNS platform. I'm going to recommend that you use Cloudflare in this case for a number of reasons. Firstly, they're free, and this is great. Secondly, they double as a CDN or a content distribution network provider, which we are going to go over in another video. So sign up for Cloudflare. I'll leave you to do that. I'm just going to log in directly. I'm already logged in as Zeno at 6WAMC. So here we go. The first thing it's doing is asking me to add a website. So it expects me to already have an actual domain or a website to transition to and actually attach to their platform, but I don't have one yet, so I need to buy one. My favorite registrar for buying domain names is Namecheap. So if you recall back to the DNS video, the registrar is the place where you purchase the domain name and you actually configure and set the name servers for that domain. So I'm going to go ahead and log in to Namecheap. Okay, and I'm going to go straight through with buying a new domain. So I'm going to go to Domains, Registration, and just buy something. I'm going to call this, what should I call this? Zeno the Wombat. Okay, well this is an easy decision. I'm going to get this one here because it's 15 cents for a year. So there's lots of ones here that you can buy. I would recommend getting a .com for your actual business. For the most part, people trust .coms and they just look more authoritative and credible. So go for a .com if you can. But since this is a test, I'm just going to do this one. So I'm going to add that to my cart. Then I'm going to go through the checkout process. You definitely want to have WhoisGuard. It's free initially and it's very cheap in any case, so take that because you want to obscure the registrant details on that actual domain. You kind of don't want everyone knowing your full name and address, right? Just for a random domain that you're purchasing, let alone one that you're using for active affiliate marketing campaigns. You don't need anything else here. So I'm going to go through and confirm this order and then transition to me on the other side. Oh, but I notice here this promo code, random little hint. Whenever you're buying things on the internet and there's a promo code box, go to something like Retail Me Not, write in the domain here, or the site service or whatever, and see if there's some coupons. Quite often you can actually save, 5, 10, 40% on things just by having a look. Okay, back we go. Okay, so I'm going to go through and purchase this. Okay, so I've gone through the purchase there and then come out the other side and just gone back to my dashboard. So here's my domain here. I'm going to go to Manage and deal with a number of things. Okay, the first thing I want to do is turn on WhoisGuard. So I need to find that. Here it is here. There we go, it's on. So we're all good. So what I want to do is actually just change the name servers here. I don't want to use Namecheap's basic DNS. You can if you want, but I would highly recommend using something better. I mean, Namecheap DNS is fine, but I really don't like their interface, so I don't even bother with it, and I wouldn't recommend it. So I'm going to change this to custom DNS. And this is where I need to put my custom name servers. So when I put name servers in here and I save, this is the point where the registrar is going to push that information to the .xyz name servers. So we have the root name servers, which know the name servers for .com and .net and .org and so on. Here, because I have a .xyz domain, I'm going to be, or the registrar Namecheap is going to be pushing these details I put here to that .xyz authoritative name server. Okay, so what I'm going to do is set things up in Cloudflare now. So I'm going to paste my domain in here, let it search. It's going to scan and show me this little video, which I don't care about, so I'm going to pause it. I'll just skip to when this is finished. So for whatever reason, Cloudflare did not like the .xyz domain name, so I went and just bought .site instead, and then sent that through, and it worked fine. So let's continue from here. Okay, so this is the information that it pulled from Namecheap. All of this information is just kind of junk. We don't really need any of this because we're going to change to Cloudflare anyway and kind of change our mail and everything too. So I'm just going to hit continue for the moment. No, I'm not. I'm going to completely get rid of that. Get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of all of them. I don't want any of these. There we go. Off we go. Okay, I'm just going to use free plan. Continue. Here we go. So these are the name servers that we want to use, right? So the current name servers are just those from Namecheap, the kind of defaults when you register a domain. We want to change to these. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to custom DNS, paste this in here, make sure to clean it up, and then take this one. There we go. I'm going to hit the little tick to save that. Perfect. So you see here it says that can take up to 48 hours to take effect. That is true. It kind of depends. It's usually a bit faster. If the domain's very, very new, or if you do it at the moment you register the domain, it's sometimes even, almost instant. I'm not sure how long it's going to take right now, but we'll just go through everything else anyway. So the next thing I'm going to do is come back to Cloudflare and go to continue. And here, I can click recheck name servers and just kind of cross my fingers and hope, although I doubt that they'll be propagated already, but we'll try it. So it's now queued up to be rescanned. I'm going to go to advanced. There's nothing in here that I want at the moment. Okay, so essentially I just kind of have to wait for that to continually be checked. For the moment, I want to get the site set up on my server as well, right? So I'm going to open up Commando. I'm going to go to login. Now what I want to do is add that domain name to my server. If I add a website to my server, and I basically tell my web server like Nginx that there is a certain site or domain that I'm hosting, what I need to do is add a virtual host. So I'm going to go to recipes, and the information on the recipe you need will be in the PDF document for Commando. I want to add a domain or a virtual host. Here we go, add domain. Let's run that. We want to do the vulture server. There we go. We don't want to put anything in here like www or anything. We want to put the root domain, which is this here. This is also called the apex, essentially. So this is kind of like the highest level part of the domain you have. Let's run that. Okay, and that's all done. So now what I'm going to do is open FileZilla and log into that server. And you can see here it's made this directory for that site. So if I open that up and then go to public, this is where all of these files for that website are going to go. So what I'm going to do is actually remove all of these. So I'm going to just put backup. Going to move all of these in there. Perfect. What I'm going to do is actually upload a template site. So I have this site here, which is a basic business page. You can use whatever you want in terms of an actual business lander. I mean, you can use this one, you can edit it, you can buy a template on something like ThemeForest, which we will go to. You can buy something here, just look for business site, I suppose. Business and site templates. Yeah, there's all these different sites in here. Don't try and design one, just find a template. It doesn't really matter that much. The main reason you want to have a business site is so that if people check the domain that you're using, they actually see something relatively credible. So I'm just going to use this. It's mildly responsive, as you can see. It's very, very simple. If I want to edit it, I can just do basic CSS sort of hacking, inspect element here, and I can go to the style editor to this one here, and I can change various things as I want, but I'm not going to bother with that. Okay, so let's get rid of that. What I'm going to do is just upload these files here from my little folder portal I have. And then once Zeno the wombat.site is directing to my server, any visits are going to by default go to this public directory here, and they're going to load the index by default. So that is what will actually appear on the site now. So I'm going to close that. And I think we don't really need to do anything there. Now in Cloudflare, what I need to do is configure the DNS records. The problem is now I'm kind of waiting for this to actually go through. Well, there we go, it's active. Okay, perfect. So what I want to do is actually deal with the DNS side of things. We can touch on these other things here later. So I'm going to go to DNS. Here we go. Okay, so one thing I want to mention is the idea of DNS caching, right? We know that if we try to access a site, we get some sort of response back, and there's a lot of systems that are actually going to cache that result. So before everything is propagated, before it's all set to Cloudflare, it's wise to not try and load your site, because you're going to cache various results. Then when it does propagate, which only took like a few minutes just now, you might actually get stuck with cached records that are annoying to actually refresh. So it pays to not actually try and access until you've actually configured it the way that you want. Okay, so now that this is sorted, what I want to do is make it so that everything is pointing to my server, right? So I'm going to actually open that server in Vultr or Commando, whichever one I'm logged into. So I'll just get back into Commando. There we go, and find that server, find its IP. Here we go, 104, blah, blah, blah. Where is it? That's the address there. What I want to do is add records to have this do what I want. The first and primary record that we need is the A record. Now an A record points to an IP address. So this is kind of the primary record that's going to direct people to our server. So I'm going to put A record in here. I'm going to put nothing for the name. Don't think I need anything for the name there. Maybe I'll just call this root for Apex domain. And depending on the DNS platform, they might have different fields here in terms of what they actually mean. In this case, I'm not actually sure what name means, so I'm actually going to leave it alone for the moment and just click add. Okay, invalid hostname, use @ to represent the root domain. There we go, good hint. So we'll add that. Perfect. Now, a lot of people use www, right? So www.yourdomain.com to visit it. At the moment, we don't have any records that tell the DNS, that actually describe what to do in that situation. What we want is for www to actually go to this here, right? We want them to kind of be the same as each other. So we're going to add a CNAME of www and put the domain in here. Actually, I'll just copy. Oh, that didn't work. Add that record. Now you also notice the TTL here on the time to live. This is essentially the expiry window of that record, how long systems will cache it for. I would just leave it on automatic. If you're doing lots of testing and things, it can pay to keep it on a really short time. So here, for example, let's put it on 2 minutes, just so that if there's any changes that have been cached and things, it'll expire relatively quickly. All of this is saving as I update it, so we're all good in that respect. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this actual IP here. Check that this is all saved. I'm pretty sure it is. Okay, let's load that IP. You can see the test page here. Now let's try to actually load this. There we go. Look at that, propagated already. If we load www, it should be an alias and load the exact same thing. There we go. And if we load wwz, it does nothing because there is no answer. If we go into here and we do wwz and we add this, now what happens? Oops. See, nothing. So if we keep spamming refresh, nothing. Control refresh, nothing. So that's not going to work, right? If we open a new tab, nothing. New tab, nothing. New private window, nothing. What if we open Chrome and put it in here? Still nothing. So here it's saying the server's DNS address could not be found. So there's some sort of caching going on which is preventing this from actually being resolved, which is not that surprising because we tried to load it before it actually existed. But what actually happens if we add, for example, ABC? There we go, and we'll give that a few seconds. Okay, let's try this. And there you go. You can see that that actually loaded straight away that time because I didn't try and load it before the DNS record existed and I didn't get any caching causing any problems. It's not going to the business site because this is a subdomain, so it's actually different to the root domain that I made, right? So on our web server end, if I load abc.xenothewombat.site, it treats that like a completely different site or virtual host to the apex or root domain, to this one here. www is loading fine, even though they're both kind of equivalent here, because www is kind of like the default for a website, right? So it makes sense that the root domain or the apex and the subdomain www would by default be going to the same place. Okay, that's perfect. That is all sorted. That's all I really wanted to show you in terms of getting that site up. Very, very easy to actually do. And if you wanted to add other things here, it would be very, very simple. So let's do that. We'll go to Commando, get logged in. Go to recipes. We want to add that virtual host or domain to the Vultr server. So we want to add abc.xenothewombat.site, I believe. Yes. Boom. Now remember, don't put any protocols in there, no HTTP, no // or anything like that. That's not allowed in that. There we go, that is done. If we connect by FTP, you can see that is now there. There's the public folder. Now that that exists, if we try to load it again, it'll actually have some destination on the server to go to rather than just some sort of default holding page. And I'll try, I did a force refresh there and you can see that's now different. And if I was to say open this index and put something in here, cheap VPS hosting at DigitalOcean, let's copy that. You can see that there. I can just go and save, hit Control S, yes I want to save, and refresh, nothing. So it's kind of cached, right? But if I hit Control F5 to force refresh, that was interesting. It sort of appeared and then got cut off. Not quite sure why that's being cut off. Maybe it's the formatting or something there. Who knows? Who cares? It updated when I actually forced refreshed. Okay, so that's fine. Another thing I wanted to just mention here is this wwz or whatever this one that we did, wwz.zeno site. That's still not working, right? That's because of caching of the DNS records. One way to get around this is with a VPN, so we'll just do a quick test here. I know this is kind of getting off topic, but that's because I'm just kind of winging it. So I don't care about the update. Where do I want to connect to? Let's go to the fastest one. I'm going to do Singapore. Okay, so that's now connected. What I'm going to do first is open a private browser. I'm going to go to speedtest.net and confirm that I'm actually logged in, or I'm actually connected to the VPN. First of all, the site will actually load. Second of all, it will say my IP is from Singapore. It'll probably take a little while for it to actually start working properly. Right, there we go. And you can see here, Golden Frog, the name of Viper VPN, turns up, so that's working. I'll just do a quick speed test to kind of make sure things are actually working. You can kind of see it's connected here, it's fine. So what I'm going to do is stop that, and I'm going to try to go to that site again. Is Zeno the Wombat.site. Kind of speeds will I get? Typical VPN speeds. Let's try and load that. And see here, hopefully you can see the very obvious difference. This did load because the VPN's DNS systems had not cached the result. So the issue here was that the ISP or something in that sort of system between me and the actual server end was caching a result that was like a fail. So it wasn't working. So if you ever get that kind of behavior happening, just connect to a VPN, force the actual DNS servers that you're using to change, and that should help. If I come back here and I refresh, there we go. Now if I disconnect and quit, if I refresh again, you can see now it's working because I've kind of cached on my end. I just did a force refresh there and it broke again. So that's kind of because it's again, I'm going back through my original ISP. Again, the failed result is cached and it doesn't really like me. Okay, that is all well and good. Let's move on. These DNS settings are relatively straightforward. We're kind of sorted there. What I want to do now is mention email. So now that I have this website, I want to use my name at zenothewombat.site, right? I don't want to use at Gmail or at hotmail.com. So there are a lot of different mail providers that you could use. I recommend just using Zoho Mail because I really like their actual webmail client, which you can see here. It's very, very good, surprisingly good. So what I'm going to do is make a new personal email. I don't really want at zoho.com. I'm actually going to get custom domain. If I go to pricing here, I should be able to see, here we go, host one domain, free. I'll just sign up for the free one for the moment. So let's call this Zeno the Wombat. Password, let's generate one with LastPass and just hit accept. Wait a few seconds, there we go. David Savory. Contact email, zeno@sixweekamc.com. Away we go. Account with this already exists, that's true, because I do kind of have an account with Zoho for that. So what should we do? Let's use support at sixweekamc.com. Well, let me use that. Okay, I'm going to skip this and use a random personal email of mine and then skip to once I have actually signed up. Okay, so let me in. I'm now logged in. You can see this is what the web panel looks like. I really like it. I think the sidebar is really cool as well. You might see some overlap and similarities with the AMC portal. That's because I kind of get inspirations from various things. I really like this kind of style, which is cool. What do I want to do? I want to use my own domain, right? I want to use something at xenothewombat.site. So what is this mail hosting? I'm going to click that. What does this do? So, okay, here we go. This is exactly what I wanted. I want to sign up with the domain I already own. So let's do xenothewombat.site. Continue. Okay, you have successfully signed up for the free plan for your domain. You can easily set this yada, yada, yada. Here is what you have. Referral program. Go. Set up. Okay, so usually there'll be an onboarding process where it kind of takes you through how to actually do the migration and importantly get the DNS settings configured. So when it comes to the email for a domain, it all starts at the DNS level. So when you send something at whatever.com, the DNS system is the first point where there's decisions about what is even going to happen with that mail, with that kind of email exchange. So for the DNS manager here, I don't really care. I'm just going to go to others, and it will give me some interesting stuff here to do. The first thing I need to do is verify that I actually own the domain, which makes sense, and it gives me various methods to do this. I tend to like using the text method, so I'm going to click that. And essentially what it wants me to do is take this text here and put it in a DNS record so that they can look it up and check that I have access to the DNS settings for this domain, and hence I am an owner, right? So what I want to do is make a text record using this, where the name of that is blank or at, and that is the result. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to add a text record. The name I'm just going to put at, and I'm going to put this content here. Make sure there's no spaces either side. Hit save, and then add record. We're done. I'm going to wait a few seconds before I try and make Zoho look it up. And let's go. Yep, verify. So we're unable to find it. Let's try again. Okay, what I'm going to do is be sneaky here and do this again, but I'm going to leave it blank and add that too. Oh, I'm not allowed. So it has to be blank or at. Okay, that is all fine. Set that to 2 minutes. Okay, let's try again. Okay, that worked, whatever. Okay, I have verified you. Okay, let's do me at xenothewombat.site. Create an account. Status and Zoho is still unconfirmed. Click confirm to proceed. Okay. Where is that? I will go back to setup here. Okay, let's try Wombat and create account. Okay, status and Zoho is still unconfirmed. Okay, it might be that I have to actually verify things. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to pop to my email account I used to register and click on any confirm links that it might have sent me. Okay, so there was definitely a verification email that I had missed and hadn't actually activated. I couldn't see it in the account that I used, so I just logged out of Zoho, tried to log back in, and it said you haven't verified yet, so I made it resend the email, turned up, ran it, and it was happy. So I've logged back in again, and I'm going to go to the control panel. And I'm going to do, again, me at Xeno the Wombat, create account. Now it is working, add users. So I'm going to add Xeno Smith. He's going to be me at Xeno the Wombat. His password can be, again, just another LastPass password, which I'll put up there for the moment. And hit OK. User already exists. Okay, I've already made him, so I don't need to do another one. Very good. Back we go. I don't care about, I can skip. I don't want to make a group. Okay, so here we go, the DNS settings, the email delivery. So here it tells you need to set MX records, which is exactly what you need to do. So we're going to use the name at, which matches the apex or the root, and we need to add this with priority 10, and this with priority 20. So I'm going to take that and copy, go back here. I want to add an MX record. I'm going to put @ that is the server, priority is 10, and save. Put automatic TTL, add that. Then we want to do another one. This time we want to do MX2 with priority of 20. Just double check that that's correct. It is indeed. Save. And that's done. Go back here. You must remove, delete anything, Okay, that's all fine. MX Toolbox here is a very good tool for checking all these kinds of things. We don't need to do any of this. We're going to go next. Email migration, we don't really need to migrate, so we're going to go next. Here you can get all the information for mail client integration. I would suggest using IMAP rather than POP. For those of you who don't know much about it, IMAP is kind of like two-way synchronization where the changes you make on your local client reflect on the server, whereas with POP, it's just kind of like you download a copy of new emails and then everything you do locally, it doesn't do anything on the server. IMAP is a lot better. And we'll move to the very, very end and just skip through, get through all of this, and then go to our control panel. And here we go. I want to actually get back to my inbox essentially. So I'm going to go home. There we go. Back to the inbox we go. Perfect. Now Zoho is really cool in terms of the various features it has. I'll let you look those kinds of things up. One really cool thing I like is that you can share folders with other people. And if you go to settings, you can set lots of different filtering rules for where you want things to go, which is one of the most useful parts when you're managing a lot of different emails. You can go here to filters, I believe, add a filter, and you can do something like when sender equals something, or when the to, like who it's actually coming to, is a certain email address that you've mapped to this account, move to a folder and move it to a certain folder. Makes it really easy to have a lot of different aliases for your email and route everything into separate folders, which is what I do. So for the @6weekAMC email address, it's just one mailbox, and all of the different ones like Zeno and support and team at 6wamc.com, they all just route to different folders here, and I can set specific rules for what happens there. For example, if the to, like the person they are sending to, is, and you put, say, support at 6weekAMC.com, what I can do is say, move to a folder, and move to a folder called support, for example, in this case spam, and then I can also forward that mail and put it to, for example, support ticket system, whatever your support ticket system's forwarding email may be, and then you can stop processing. And that makes it really easy to actually streamline things. In terms of adding these various actual aliases, I'm not sure where you do that, just on a brief look, maybe mail accounts and send mail as. Check those, you usually add identities and things. So here we go, mail accounts. Okay, this is for connecting to other accounts that you pull in. I don't really want that. Send mail as, this is what I do want, so I can add a new kind of address that I send from, and so on and so on. There's all these various things that you can do. Filters here as well is where you can add these kinds of filters, yet again, with all your advanced sort of little rules and so on. Okay, that's that. That's kind of our business email. So I'm going to do a quick test. So what I'm going to do is send an email from one of my other emails. So I'm going to skip out and come back and see what happens. Okay, so I just logged out and logged into a different Zoho mail account and sent a email to me at zenotherwombat.site, and logging back in, here it appears here. So you can see I've emailed myself and I can reply, and away it goes. So that's how easy it is to actually get sort of business email set up for your site, buy a domain, configure the DNS, and so on. It's actually very, very simple if you kind of know the basics of how domains, registrars, and DNS work. And when you have something like Commando for actually doing things like adding virtual hosts and stuff, it's very, very easy to actually get these things set up very, very quickly. And hopefully little tricks and things like using a VPN provider when you accidentally cache DNS results and you just kind of want to quickly get through something by using a new set of DNS servers. That's a really nice route to actually have at your disposal. Right, that's it for this actual little module. Hopefully you can get a business site and email up and running very quickly with very, very little cost overhead. That's it for today, or for this module. I'll see you in the next one.